Hey team, Coach Holly here. I'm about to take you through a bodyweight workout. So for about the next half an hour, we're going to be going through a little bit more of like a strength-based workout that you can do at home. So the aim of today's session isn't necessarily to try and do things like super hard and super fast and get like a really intense cardio workout. There's other workouts that we're going to do that can help you with that. So what I want you to really focus on when you're doing today's workout is to take each exercise steady, make sure you're doing really technically sound reps, and then as long as you're executing it correctly, if you need to increase the intensity a little bit, then you can make things a little bit faster. The workout is completely body weight, so it can be done at home, so you don't need to be in the gym for this. If, however, you do happen to have some weights or something at home, or maybe you've got things that you can fashion up to help add a little bit of weight to your workout, like tins of beans or water bottles or something, then by all means grab those and get those involved. Make sure you've got a little bit of water on standby, because as soon as we get going, we're really just going to move through this. And today's workout, we're going to start with a little bit of a full body warm-up. And then we're going to move into 3 different rounds. So round 1 is going to be an upper body based workout. Round number 2 is going to be more lower body based. And then round number 3, we're going to do a little bit of abdominal and core work. Okay? So find yourself a little bit of space wherever you may be. And we're going to have a little bit of a warm up now. We're going to do 20 seconds on each of these exercises. We've got 4 exercises to go through. I have got a microphone on, so hopefully it won't rustle around too much with me getting up and down on the floor. Hopefully that won't get too much interference, but apologies in advance if it does rustle around a little bit as I'm moving through some of these exercises. So we're just going to start with shoulder rolls. So from here, let me get my stopwatch going. We've got 20 seconds, and I just want you to make really nice big swings of the arms. So make really nice big circles. Do maybe 5 or so in one direction and then change direction, so bring it back the other way. We're going to go through 3 rounds of each of these. So first round, let's just get the movement into play, and then we can add a little bit of speed to it. And then 3, 2, and 1. From here, step that little bit wider. We're going to go into some air squats. So arms out in front of you. Just step as wide apart as you need to for your own body. Everybody's hips are slightly different. Everybody needs to stand in slightly different positions for their squats. So we're getting into that air squat if you can. Try and get that hip crease to get underneath that knee crease to warm up for that full range of motion. But otherwise, just as deep as is comfortable for you. In 3, 2, and 1. From here, come down onto the ground. We're going to go into a glute bridge. So lying down on the floor, feet about shoulder width apart. You're just going to have that nice big strong hip drive. So nice big pulse of your hips up towards the ceiling. Take a brief little pause at the top just to give your bum cheeks a really good squeeze. And then gently lower, give your bum a gentle tap on the floor and go again. So we're lifting the hips up as high as we can without then arching into the lower back. In 3, 2, and 1, then we're going to stay in this position for the last exercise. You might want to step just slightly wider with your feet on this one. Take the arms out into a T shape, and then we're just going to rotate the knees from side to side. So you're just going to drop your knees down towards the ground. We're not forcing it. This is just a nice little bit of mobility to work through the lower back. So be gentle. You're not trying to really swing and drive those knees into the floor, but with each one, just see if you can encourage a little bit more movement. Couple more here, and then we're going to get back up to the top, and we're going to go straight back into those shoulder rolls. So 3, 2, and 1. Great. All right, back up onto your feet, back into those shoulders. Now let's start to get a little bit more speed through here, okay? So you're going to do 20 seconds. I'm just going to stop that one. You guys keep moving just so that I don't get too much crackling going on through my microphone. I think the shoulders might be the worst one for that. So we're going to do 20 seconds, so keep moving. So just those really nice big swings. Now we're moving into the second round. Make it a little bit faster, so pick the speed up so we start to get the heart rate up. 5 seconds, and then we're down into squats. 3, 2, 1. So into those air squats. So again, step as wide as you need to. And let's start to pick the speed up here a little bit now. So start to get a little bit more blood pumped up into those thighs. Another 10 seconds. Then we're going to get down into those glute bridges. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Down to the ground. Let's go into those glute bridges. So we can add a little bit more speed here, but make sure you keep nice control of those knees. So don't let the knees fall in as you push up. Keep the middle of the knee out in line with the middle of your feet. So the angle of the knee will depend on how wide you've stepped here. Couple more seconds. 3, 2, 1, and then let's transition straight into those rolls, so straight into those twists of the knees. We're going to do 20 seconds here, and then we're going to get back up to our feet, and we're going to go through one more round doing those again a little bit faster than the round before. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back up to your feet, back into those shoulder rolls, so both together, really nice and quick. Get a little bit of speed behind it. You can change direction, so go one way for a couple of speedy rolls and then back the other. You're going to do 20 seconds here, about another 5 seconds. Keep that pace up nice and quick, and then we're going into those squats in 3, 2, and 1. Now let's pick up the pace of these squats a little bit, so let's make them even quicker than that round before. Get those legs really nice and warmed up. 10 more seconds. And then we're going down into those glute bridges. 3, 2, and 1. Down into glute bridges. Let's get another little bit of an increase in speed here. So that nice big strong squeeze, make it nice and forceful from the floor, and find that big squeeze in your butt at the top. You've got about 5 more seconds, and then we'll go into those twists to finish. 3, 2, and 1. Last round on those lower back twists, so 20 seconds here, and then we're going to get into that first round, which is going to be upper body focused. Last 10 seconds, so we can get that little bit of speed here, so you don't want to be forcing it, so we're moving with a little bit of speed, so just a gentle bounce out of it, over to the middle and over to the other side. 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. All right, round number 1. We're going to do upper body. We've got 3 exercises, and we're going to stick with the timing of 45 seconds of work for your exercise and then 15 seconds of rest. We're going to use that same timing all the way through, so it's nice and easy, so it won't get complicated with when you should be working and when you should be resting. So you're going to do push-ups, shoulder taps, and then back extensions. So I'm going to run through a couple of variations of each of those before we start, so you guys have got a couple of options to modify if need be, based on your own ability and or potential injuries or things you might have going on at the shoulders or in the upper back. But just remember, this is more about making sure you're finding the exercise that fits your body and that you can do technically well with really good sound reps, rather than say picking a slightly harder version of it and your technique kind of turn into shit and everything looking a little bit ugly. So bear that in mind. So exercise number 1 is your push-ups. So for your variation, you can come down, so level 1 of this exercise I would do from the knees. So remember, with your push-ups, you don't want to go too wide on the hands, because as we lower our chest down to the floor, we want our elbows to track at about 45 degrees from our torso. So from here, make sure you have that little abdominal stack. So from this position, it's usually that little tuck in of the tailbone. You're going to lower that chest down towards the floor, and then that nice big strong drive up. So you've got on the knees. If you want to go up on the toes, you can go from the toes. If there's anybody that struggles with that, then if you've got something like a chair or a bench or something near to you that you can go up on an incline, then do it on an incline. You can do the incline from the knees, or you can do it from the toes. Your second exercise is going to be shoulder taps. So from this position here, ideally, if we can, you're going to get up into that straight arm plank position. Stepping your feet wide helps with that base of support. So make sure you step wide here. Bring your hands close together, so wrist light directly under your shoulders. And then one hand at a time, we're just going to alternately tap our shoulder. Do it this way too as well, so you can see what my arms are doing from square on. So step wide. Now, if you're unable to do that without either losing tension here, so sagging the butt or poking the butt up in the air, come down onto the knees and do it from the knees, because we want to keep the hips really nice and still. If you're getting any kind of twisting or shifting in the hips, then you just need to change the modification of the exercise to make sure you can control it. And then the last one we've got is the back extension. So you're going to then roll over and lie on your belly. Your arms are going to come out in front of you. And then from this position here, you're going to have a big butt squeeze and a big squeeze of the back. You're just going to lift the arms up, pause at the top briefly, lower back down, tap your nose on the floor, and then come back up. And you're just going to move in and out of that position there. All right? So we're going to do 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest, and we're going to move through that round 3 times. So I'm just going to bring the timer up on my iPad, and we'll put a little bit of music on too, so I'll crank the tunes up for you a little bit, so hopefully that helps. And this should play through the boombox too as well, so hopefully you can hear the timing, and that will keep me on check. Got a little bit of an 80s playlist. All right, we've got a 5-second countdown, so let's get ready. Find that position for your push-ups. All right, let's go. That was our whistle. We've got 45 seconds of work. Make sure you're keeping that abdominal area really nice and tight with your push-ups. Keep moving. We'll hear the countdown when we're ready, so keep moving until you hear that whistle. Make sure you keep the head really nice and still in your push-ups too. So no leaning the head forward or poking the chin down to the ground. 3, 2, 1. You've got a 15-second breather here, and we're going to transition into those shoulder taps. 5 seconds. Get yourself into that straight arm plank position if you can. Nice wide feet. All right, let's go. So we want to take it steady. Don't rush through these. Just have a brief little pause at the top. And as you're taking the arm off the ground, you should be really feeling like you're getting into your core and stabilizing through here. So remember, down to the knees if you can't hold that strong hip position. We're coming up for about 10 seconds, team, so keep moving. 3, 2, and 1. You've got 15 seconds here to transition to the ground, so we're going on your belly. Thumbs up towards the ceiling on this one with your arms, okay? Do this sideways on so you can see my body position. 2, 1. All right, let's go. So we lift up, squeeze, and then relax. Brief pause, lift back up, squeeze. So focus on squeezing the butt, a little bit in the lower back, and then also the upper back. Keep those arms out nice and straight, and keep your head in a neutral position. So we're not trying to lift the head up to look up towards the ceiling, or you'll squish into the back of the neck. Keep working, guys. Remember, we've got that whistle to guide us, so you keep moving until you hear that. 3, 2, 1. Take a breather. You've got 15 seconds here, and we're going to transition back into those push-ups. That was round number 1. 2 more rounds to go. 3, 2, 1. All right, let's get it. I'm going to do as many as I can on my toes, and then I'm going to come down to my knees. It's important you keep your head nice and still in your push-up as well. One of the common mistakes I see is this, so people driving their head down to the ground. Don't do that. Keep the chin in neutral. Your chest should be landing between your thumbs. So your hands shouldn't be out in front of the shoulders. Elbows about 45 degrees, not out square to the side. Keep that nice strong position here. 3, 2, 1. Take a breather. You got 15 seconds, and then we're moving on to those shoulder taps. So if you can, start with the hardest version up on those toes, and then if you need to, if you're losing strength here or stability here, down onto the knees. All right, let's go. So nice and controlled with that shoulder tap. Make sure you're keeping the head in a neutral position here as well. And feel that core kick in as soon as that hand comes off the ground. Think about using that core to really control your hips. We're coming into that last 10 seconds, guys. Stay strong through the abs here. Make sure that wrist stays under the shoulder. 3, 2, and 1. Let's transition down to our bellies. So onto your tummy. We got 10 seconds into those back extensions. So arms out, head in neutral. 2, 1, let's go. Big lift up, squeeze. Relax, tap down. Lift up, squeeze. I want you to be really focusing on squeezing all through the back side of you here. So from your upper back, lower back, your butt, everything on the back side of you should be kicking in to keep you nice and strong. Keep the arms out straight, keep the thumbs up towards the ceiling. Oh, we got a banger coming up here on the boom box. Cool, keep moving, guys. That whistle will tell us when we're done. This is the last exercise of round number 3. 3, 2, and 1. Take a breather. Round number 2, sorry, not round number 3. We're now moving into round number 3 to finish. We've got one more to go here for this upper body round, and then you can have a little breather while I explain what you're gonna do next, and then we'll get into the legs. All right, let's go. Back into your push-ups.
Still moving this flavor with the homies Blackstreet and Teddy, the original rough shakers.
So make sure you're doing really good technical reps here. Push-ups is the one that I see gets real ugly, real fast for a lot of people when fatigue sets in. So come down to those knees if you need to, or get yourself up on your sofa or on the edge of a bench or on a chair, something like that if you need, to make sure you can keep moving through it. Slow and controlled is better than trying to knock them out really quick, because that's when people tend to fluff things up. All right, take a breather. We got 15 seconds and then we're getting into those shoulder taps. Hopefully you're not getting too much feedback from my mic here. Shoulder taps coming up in 3, 2, 1. All right, let's get into it. If you're getting tired, take those feet that little bit wider. That will help. So we're getting into the shoulders here, but also into the core. Squeeze the abs. Keep a little bit of tension in your bum cheeks as well. Make sure that wrist stays under the shoulder to help you with stability. If you're out here or out to the side, you lose stability through the shoulder, so make sure you're under here. All right, last 7 seconds, team, to finish this one. And then we've got those back extensions to go. 3, 2, and 1. Good job. We've got back extensions to go and then we're done. This is gonna be the last 45 seconds of work. 5 seconds, round onto your belly. Arms out, nice and straight, thumbs up. All right, let's go. Find that squeeze and then relax. Lift up, squeeze. Good work, guys. This is the last one we've got. Focus in on that upper body, so big squeeze into the upper back. But make sure you're using those glutes as well to help you with that little lift of the legs and that little extension in the lower back. Keep moving. Squeeze up between those shoulder blades and in those lower traps. Last couple of seconds. Nice work, guys. That's time. All right, take a little bit of a breather here. I'll reset that time on the clock. So while you're having a little breather, I'll run through now what you guys are gonna do for your next round. So the timing's gonna be exactly the same. So we're gonna stick with 45 seconds of work and 15 seconds rest, except now we're moving to the legs. So we're gonna do sumo squats, a static lunge, and then also glutes, okay? So with your sumo squat, what we do is we kind of stand as it sounds, like a sumo wrestler, right? So now we're taking a really nice wide stance. So we're stepping wider than we would normally for like our air squats, right? So you want to step outside the shoulders. You're going to turn your feet to about 45 degrees. Don't go any more than that. Otherwise you start to lose tension through the glutes and through the hips, okay? So 45 degrees or less on the feet, but typically 45 degrees is a good position. Now you need to make sure with this one that as you come down into the squat, that you're driving those knees out to stay in line with the middle of the toes. What we don't want is for the knees to collapse in like this, okay? So you may have to modify your position slightly or step a little bit closer together if you're finding that this is happening with the knees. So as you squat down, arms out, I want you to think you're gonna really drive those knees out over your toes. And you'll find with this, you're not able to squat or drop down quite as low as what you would with a normal air squat because the hips are a bit more open now. Unless you've got like really good hip mobility and you're super flexible in the hips, then you might find that you can, all right? But what we're trying to do here, just to try and get that butt or the line of the hips, if we can, to drop down parallel. But again, modify the depth. If you're finding that you're starting to lose tension here when you try to go lower, shorten the depth a little bit and focus on keeping the chest up really nice and high. Just as a quick side note, if any of you have ever had issues with your SIJ joint, you will know if you have, because that'll be something that you probably will have explored with a therapist or something. A sumo squat or a sumo position of the feet is a really nice position to take because it helps with what we call force closure of the SIJ. So it actually helps to stabilize that area a little bit when you're moving. So potentially something for some of you to consider. Is typically more common in females. So yeah, if that's you, then you can always try adding the sumo squat variation to when you're in the gym. Excuse me. The second exercise we've got is your lunge. So we're going to do a static lunge. We're going to swap over about halfway though, okay? So your static lunge position, you're going to step back, chest up really nice and high, and you're just going to drop that back knee down towards the ground. I'll give you the cue when to change your legs over. And then the last one we've got is a 1 1/4 pulse on the glutes. So now we're going to add a little bit more tension to the hips. So you're going to come up into that glute pulse. Then from here, you're going to drop about 1/4 of the way down and pulse back up again before you take your butt to the floor. So it's like a big drive up. Then we do a little pulse. And then we drop the bum down, okay? So this is going to add a bit more tension to the hips. By all means, if you've got weights or something you can hold to make these a little heavier at home, then grab them. If you've got a band or something and you want to add that to your glute bridge to make it harder, then you can, but of course you can do this without. So we're going to go through the same thing again, 45 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. Get ready, we'll give you that 5-second countdown. We'll start with those sumos. All right, let's go. So arms out to help you with that counterbalance. Unless you've got a weight, you can hold it here in goblet, or you could hold it together down here and drop it down between the legs. Remember, feet at 45 degrees and focus on that big heel drive and that squeeze of the thighs at the top. Do this sideways on so you can see my body position. So my torso's up fairly high. I'm not collapsing or leaning forward or pushing up from the hips. So make sure you're driving yourself up through the legs. We've got about 7 seconds here.
Okay.
And 1, good job. Take a quick breather. Now we're going to get into our lunge position. So it doesn't matter which leg you step forward here because you're going to change sides. So don't step too wide, but wide enough that you can get 90 degrees in both knees at the bottom. All right, let's go. I'll let you know when we're about 20 seconds in so you can have a quick change over. So keep the chest up tall. Keep it up high. Just checking I've turned my mic on then. I had a moment thinking, oh no, what if I haven't? Good job, I have. 3, 2, 1. Swap sides. Should be a really nice, easy changeover. Just spin it round. Good. Keep that chest up. Remember, we're not traveling forward. We're going straight down. Keep moving until you hear that whistle. Good job. Take a breather. Last one, we've got that 1 1/4 pulse in the glutes, okay? So down onto the ground. Feet on the outside of the shoulder. 3, 2, 1. We pulse up, squeeze, have a little 1/4 pulse back up to the top and then to the floor. Good. Think about power with this one as well, guys. So big hip drive, then find the pulse. Keep moving until you hear that whistle. Then we've got a 15-second breather. And we're gonna get back up to our feet and get ready to go again with sumos. Keep those knees nice and controlled in this. Don't let the knees cave in. Keep them out in line with the middle of the foot. 2 and 1. All right, back up into sumo squats. And 1. That was the end of round number 2. We're gonna come back up to our feet. We're gonna do one more round, and then you'll have another little breather, and I'll explain what exercises we're gonna finish with core and abs. 3 rounds of that, and then we're done. Sumo squats. Let's go. Arms up, thumbs up to the ceiling if that helps, to keep that nice upper body posture. See now if your legs and your hips are a bit more warmed up, if you can encourage a bit more depth. So see if you can get your butt to go a little bit lower, but not at the expense of letting the knees cave in, okay? Technique first, then add the challenge. Then you can make it a bit more difficult afterwards. We've got about 10 seconds. This is the last one of the sumos. Make it count. Challenge that depth. 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Spin around. Find your static lunge position. If you've got weight here, you can either hold them by the side or you can take one up in a goblet. 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. Straight down with that back knee. We're not collapsing and getting into this position here. Keep the chest up and pulse straight up. Remember, we're not traveling forwards, straight down. If you've got good stability here, you can add a little bit of speed into this one just to fire up those legs a little bit more. One more rep on this side, spin it, straight into it. Good. Straight down. Go to the whistle. Then we're going down for those glutes to finish. 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Down onto the ground. Glutes to finish here, team. And then we've got abs and core to go. So find that position for your hips that allows you to really get into your glutes. 3, 2, 1. All right, let's go. Let's bring this one home. Let's keep moving, keep that nice flow and that nice rhythm all the way through. Find as much height in those hips as you can without arching into your lower back. Last few seconds. And time. Well done, guys. Take a little breather. I'll just reset that. Just turn that, hopefully that music wasn't too loud in my microphone at the bottom of that glute bridge there. Apologies if that's a little bit loud. YOLO. It's the Feel Good 90s playlist. All right, last one. Quick water break if you need it. We're gonna do some abs and core work, okay? So we're gonna pretty much be down on the ground or close to the ground for all of these. So make sure you've got a little bit of space in front and behind you. The first exercise we're going to do is a Superman. So with your Superman, you want to get into that quadruped position and or tabletop, whatever you call it. Now before you move, you want to make sure you're setting yourself up in that nice neutral arch. So we don't want to be super saggy with the hips and let the butt go up and the belly go down. And we also don't want to be like curled too much under. So make sure you're finding the neutral position for you. And then we're going to go opposite arm and opposite leg. Stretch it out, have a brief little pause. Now when your leg is out behind you, we're not trying to lift the leg up towards the ceiling, okay? You see as my hips start to rotate and twist there, you want to imagine you've got like 2 bits of string with some weights dangling on the end that are keeping your hips or those bony bits on the front of your hips facing down towards the ground. So when you're extending that back leg out, you're just kicking that heel out level with your hips. So you're giving your butt a bit of a squeeze. We're not going like this because that's when the technique starts to go wrong. So from here, opposite arm and opposite leg, we straighten out and we draw it in. So this is one of those ones where we want to make sure we're taking a little bit more time with it, because if you rush through it, you're not really giving yourself the opportunity to engage. And we want to make sure that we're not trying to lift that arm and that leg too high so we don't get any unwanted twist, okay? So we're going to do that, 45 seconds, 15 seconds rest. Then you're going to get into a beast hold position. Now, anyone familiar with animal flow, you might be familiar with the term beast or the position beast. If not, welcome to the beast. So this is beast. So again, in that tabletop position, and then to make it the beast, all we do here is just lift the knees off the ground. So we're taking the knees off the ground about 1 inch at most. What we're not doing is pushing the butt up in the air. So we're keeping that tabletop position, so maintaining that neutral arch in the back, and we're just going to hold. Now, as soon as you bring the knees up off the floor, you should feel core kick in. If that gets a little bit challenging at any point, just rest the knees down on the ground, take a couple of breathers, and then get back up into it. If there's anybody who wants a little bit more of a challenge from that beast mode, if you find that too easy, then you can just gently alternate taking the knee just away from the body slightly. But you want to make sure that as you're lifting the knee, you're also not rotating. So it's just a very small move. You're not trying to lift the leg up as high as possible. It's not a fire hydrant. You're just trying to take the knee out, add the challenge, and bring it back in. And then last one we're going to do is bicycle crunches. So you're going to roll over onto your back. From here, hands behind the head to support the neck, keep the elbows out. You're going to go opposite knee towards opposite shoulder. And as you alternate sides, I want you to kick that opposite leg out as much as you can without taking it to the ground. And I want you to keep your elbows out to make sure you're really encouraging that twist through the torso. So the mistake a lot of people make with bicycles is they'll bring their elbows in really close and they'll just swing the elbows from side to side. Keep the elbows out and support your head with your hands. And then think about trying to take the shoulder towards the knee. So then you're really getting into the rotation here through the torso. We're trying to use the obliques, right? They're the twisters of our trunk. If all we're doing is just swinging arms and elbows in front of us, we're not really getting the movement that we want, okay? Again, 45 seconds, 15 seconds of rest. All right, team, let's get into it to finish. So down into that quadruped position for your Supermans. Gonna have that 5-second countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, let's go. So we're taking that leg out, brief little pause, bring it in. So hand and foot should leave the floor at the same time, and they should come back in at the same time. So remember that heel's just coming up level with our bum or our hip level, giving our butt cheek a little squeeze, thumb up towards the ceiling, so we'll give the back of the shoulder a little squeeze. And then our job is to keep those hips really nice and still by using our core. So make sure you're traveling slowly. Head also stays in neutral, so we're not looking up and we're not dropping the chin down. 3, 2, and 1. Good job. It's an easy one to transition to for Beast. So set yourself up now so you're in that nice position. So wrists under shoulders again, knees underneath hips. Don't be too far away. So knees directly under. All right, knees off the ground. Let's go. And we're maintaining neutral neck, neutral lower back. Remember, if you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can go into that little lift of the knee. That's more challenging for the core. So pick the modification that works you the best. But when we're lifting the knee, if you're going to lift the knee, make sure you're not then rotating through the hips, okay? So you shouldn't see anything move other than the knee out to the side. Guys, just holding Beast. You want to make sure your knees aren't too far away from you. 3, 2, and 1. All right, down into the ground for your bicycle crunches. Let's make sure we do these really nice. So control it. We're not really after too much speed here. I'd rather you got that really nice rotation and worked on the technique than try to do it really quickly. All right, let's go. So keep the chest up, keep the shoulders or the back of the shoulders off the ground. So we're keeping that constant little tension in the abs. And then we want to make sure we're rotating the torso enough to hit the obliques. So think about trying to really twist your chest towards the opposite wall. So you're going like wall to wall. We're not going elbow to knee. Find the rotation. That extension of the leg makes it a little more challenging. If that's too much for you, you can keep a little bit of a bend in the knee. Keep moving. Those hands are there just to support the head. Don't be pulling on the neck. Just let the head fall into the hands. Good job. All right, we're going back into Superman. So from here, roll back over into that tabletop or quadruped position. Just move my mic, that gets in the way a little bit with those twisty ones. 3, 2, and 1. All right, let's go. So head in neutral, lower back in neutral. I find it easier too as well to control if I kind of curl my toes under on that foot that's staying on the ground, rather than having it like the toes flat to the floor, the top of the toes flat to the ground. I find that helps me with stability. Make sure you're keeping that wrist directly under the shoulder as well. And then that knee comes back just under the hip. Find that squeeze in the butt on the leg, that little bit of a squeeze in the back of the shoulder on the arm. Last couple of seconds. 1. Good, we're in position for Beast here, so you can take a quick little breather back on the knees if you need. And then Beast mode in 6 seconds. Back to tabletop. 3, 2, 1. Let's go, knees off the ground. So you might feel this a little bit through the arms and the shoulders as well, because they've had a bit of a workout. And we're using the upper back to stabilize us too. But I want you to put as much of your attention and focus as you can into your core and try and let that be the powerhouse that's doing the work here. So those knees are hovering. If you need a little break, just pop the knees down, rock back, and then rock forward and come back up again. Try and keep pushing yourself away from the ground as well, so we keep those shoulder blades open just a little bit. We're not trying to really round out, but enough that you put a bit of pressure in the arms. Good job, round onto your back. Into those bicycle crunches. This is the end of round number 2. And we've got one more round to go after that, and then we're done. Shoulders up, hands behind the head. All right, let's go. Find that rotation. Take these a little bit slower and with a bit more control. Make sure you're not pulling on the head and the neck. You can shorten the range of motion in that leg if you need to. You keep trying to find that opposite wall. Last few seconds. Woo! Good job. All right, one more round to go, squad, and then you guys are there. Supermans. Quick little walk break. Might be a bad idea after I'm about to do some ab crunches, but YOLO! All right, let's go. So arm out, leg out. You guys know what this is all about now. So keep it slow, keep it controlled. Focus on keeping those hips really nice and level. No twisting. Three, 2, and 1. Good job. That's your Superman's done. Then we've got beast mode and those bicycle crunches to finish off. I seem to be getting further and further away, don't I? Come back in a little bit. 7 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Beast. Let's go. So if it helps here too as well, guys, you can think about trying to screw those hands into the ground a little bit like what we do with the feet when we're getting into that brace position. If you need to add a little bit more tension to the shoulders, screw the hands in. I'm going to close my eyes so I can't see the clock. The worst thing ever, isn't it, when you're holding a position and you can see the time? I'd rather not know, but for you guys, you've got 12 seconds. 5, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful stuff. All right, round onto the floor. Last set of bicycle crunches, then we're done. 7 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Let's get it. Bicycle crunches to finish. Try and keep those shoulders off the ground, and that will keep that nice like squeeze into the abdominals, so the more of the abdominal wall, so the superficial abs. And then that twist is what gets us more into our obliques, so those side abdominals. That extension of the leg's gonna make us work our core a little harder as well while we're trying to control the leg. That draw back in of the knee adds like another little crunch as well. What do we got? 10 seconds. Good, because my abs hurt. Keep moving. 3, 2, and 1. Nice work, team. Well done. Good job. So that is a nice little strength-based home workout that you can do. So you can revisit this whenever you want to have a little bit of a workout at home. If you can't get to the gym, or for whatever reason you miss any of your pack strength sessions, then you've got something to keep you moving. And again, as I said at the start, if you've got stuff at home that you can use to help you add a little bit more weight to it to make it a touch more challenging, you can. Otherwise, totally cool to do this one body weight as well. Brilliant. Good job, folks.